Hey everyone, welcome to the E2 Effective Elders podcast. Visit us at e2elders.org and please share this good word with others.
Hi, welcome to the E2 podcast. I'm Christina Bledsoe, Marketing Director. In late 2021, Gary and the E2 staff, we sat down and discussed a word for each month of 2022, a word that we wanted to pause, reflect on, and pray about. And in July of 2022, our word is rest. Gary brought you the rhythms of rest, followed by Debbie, who discussed enjoying rest, and Mike discussed Sabbath rest. And I am here to wrap up the month of July with T, time. Time is fleeting, as you all know, and the most popular or well-known verse in the Bible that I can think of about time is Ecclesiastes 3:1-8, where King Solomon is writing about time and the seasons and how there's a time and a season for everything. Just very quickly, he mentions that there's a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh. And it goes on, as I'm sure most of you are familiar with. After 40 plus years of life, I know a few things about time, but I know I still have a lot to learn. My sons are grown, they're 23 and 25, and when they were younger, it felt like there was never enough time. We were always running from a school activity to a sports activity, all across town, sometimes out of town for travel assignments, and it just felt like time was fleeting. And now that they're grown and they're out of the house, as many of you can imagine, I would give anything to drive all across town back and forth to cross country and soccer events, and it's just, time goes so fast. All the cliches are true. In March of this year, a close friend of my son's, my oldest son, was diagnosed with stage 4 esophageal cancer. He's 25. As you can imagine, this diagnosis has sent a lot of worlds into orbit, a lot of stress, and a lot of people's worlds are just spinning right now, and my son's included. As a parent, we want to protect our kids. We want to make sure that they don't experience pain so soon in their lives, because we know that it will come later. And I do have a good friend that's an oncologist, and I remember talking to her about clinical trials and different medicines that were coming out, and the question that she asked me, and the question that she asks her patients more importantly, is how do you want to spend your time? Yes, there are clinical trials and there are different medicines out there, but the question becomes, how do you want to spend your time? And I've spent the last several months reflecting on that question, so it only seems fitting that I would be asked to talk about time, because it just seems like time is, it's just fleeting, and I want to grab onto it. And for the last 11 months, I have been able to participate in a cohort at my church, and part of this cohort is reading a book and discussing different spiritual disciplines, and rest is a spiritual discipline. To wrap up our 11 months together studying this book, we went on an overnight retreat to a spiritual retreat center here in Indiana, and part of that retreat was creating a rule of life. And I spent 2 hours in the exact same spot that I'm going to show you in this next video. And I spent 2 hours with God just saying, where have you taken me in the past, and where are we going now? And I just would urge you to find time to retreat with God and to ask Him the questions that we all have, and the question that we should be asking ourselves is, how do we want to spend your time? So take this next 48 seconds to sit with me in the exact same spot that I sat with God for 2 hours last weekend, and ask yourself, how do you want to spend your time? I'm certain that God has an answer